What's up, you beautiful guitar freaks? Today we're not doing scales, licks, techniques, demonstrations, none of that usual stuff. Today we're talking about the reason why you get stuck, the reason that your progress feels like a roller coaster on flat ground, and the reason why you're probably working way harder than necessary yet seeing way less than you should. So today we're talking psychology, we're talking neuroscience, we're talking habit formation, we're talking about your ego, your motivation system, and how to build the mind of a guitarist who always gets better, not one who stays stuck forever in the same box shape. This is the truth that most players avoid because it forces you to confront yourself. If you're ready to level up, keep watching. If you're not, still keep watching because it'll hurt, but it'll be in a good way. So first of all, skill growth is a mechanical process, it's not magic. Let's start with the biggest psychological myth. You think that improvement is based on talent, whereas it is based on process. Here are some neuroscience facts. I'm not an expert, but from what I've studied, your brain changes structurally every time you practice. And this is called neuroplasticity. It's the brain's ability to rewire itself. When you repeat a motion cleanly, the neural pathway strengthens. When you repeat it slowly, well, that pathway strengthens. So the brain doesn't label things as good technique or bad technique. It labels things as repeated or not repeated. That's it. People might say, well, I've practiced for hours. Cool, I hear that, but what did you practice? Was it good reps or was it bad ones? If your practice is inefficient, inconsistent, unfocused, distracted, rushed, or emotionally unstable, then your brain is just memorizing your chaos, and then you wonder why you plateau. Practice like a beginner. The neuroscience reason that it works. Let's dive a little bit deeper into the practice like a beginner concept. Well, if you think about it, most of you, when you were a beginner, you moved slowly, you watched your fingers, you paid attention to feedback, or maybe not. You didn't assume anything though. Every note mattered, and that's exactly how the brain builds precision circuitry. Research shows that skill acquisition requires two states. First state being high focus and low speeds. This builds the neural pathway. Second state is low focus and higher speed. This tests the pathway and teaches your brain to maintain it under stress. Most guitarists I know only do the second one. And that's why their foundation success. Slow practice activates the prefrontal cortex, which has to do with precision, intention, and control. The basal ganglia, which has to do with habit formation. The motor cortex has to do with movement patterns. And your brain literally says, oh, they want this exact movement wired in. Let's build the neural highway. Practicing slowly doesn't just help you play clean. It helps your brain understand what you want. So yes, practice like a beginner frequently, even if you're an advanced player. It's not regression. It's upgrading your OS system, sort of. And listen, if you want to go deeper with this stuff, if you want to have customized practice routines and someone to hold you accountable, fix your habits, correct your technique, and guide you through the mental game, then feel free to contact me for coaching and private guitar lessons online. I only work with students who are serious about becoming the guitarist they know they can be and are willing to do the work. Now, the micro observation method, and this is where most players fail. They play, but they don't observe. Observation is the key to mastery. Top musicians, regardless of genre, treat practice like a lab experiment, maybe. The micro observation method might include finger height. Are your fingers flying off the fretboard like you're waving at a taxi? That's wasted motion, wasted energy, and every millimeter costs speed and accuracy. Number 2, pick depth. Do you bury the pick half an inch into the string like it owes you money? You only need 1 or 2 millimeters of contact, no more. Hand tension, number 3. The moment that your wrist tightens, you're done. Tension slows you down more than lack of talent ever could. Number 4, sound of finger contact. If we're talking legato, if your hammer-ons sound weak or your pull-offs, it's not your guitar, it's your biomechanics, the movements that you make. Number 5, breathing. Yes, breathing. Your brain and hands rely on oxygen. I've taught hundreds of players who literally hold their breath when playing fast. Number 6, reaction time. Record the slow exercise. Can't you predict your next movement, or are you reacting late? Because if you're reacting late, your brain is behind your fingers, so you should fix it. And a bonus neuroscience hack, recording yourself. Every time you watch yourself play, your brain activates mirror neuron system, which improves motor learning even when you're not touching the guitar. Watching yourself is kind of like practicing without practicing. Now, about the consistency formula. Let's talk about practice quantity, because people love lying to themselves about this subject. Here's a scientific formula. Small quantity plus high frequency equals maximum brain change. Your brain loves repetition across time. It hates huge spikes of effort followed by nothing. So, practice 10 to 20 minutes a day could make an enormous improvement. Practice 2 hours once a week, that gives you the minimal improvement. Consistency matters because you reinforce circuits before they decay. You avoid forgetting the new stuff that you're learning. You avoid rebuilding old mistakes. You maintain emotional stability. You reduce friction. Even neuroscience studies on athletes and chess players say the same thing. Frequency beats duration. I'm not asking you to grind, I'm asking you to show up every day. If you can't give it 10 minutes, you don't want it. Number 5, curiosity, novelty, and dopamine. Let's talk dopamine a little bit. Dopamine is not the pleasure chemical. It's the motivation and learning chemical. Your brain releases dopamine when you try something totally new, when you see progress, when you overcome some difficulty, when you explore, when you question, when you experiment. But what do most guitarists do? They play the same scales, the same strings, the same songs, the same patterns, the same speed. Guess what? No novelty, no dopamine. No dopamine, no motivation. No motivation, you think that you lost your passion. You didn't lose passion, you lost novelty. So here's your assignment. Learn a concept that you've never touched. Play in a key that you hate. Try a genre that scares you. Solo on one string for 10 minutes. Write a melody with no licks. Practice in rhythms that you avoid. Explore intervals that you never use, and that's how you keep your brain engaged. That's how you keep your fire alive. That's what I've been doing for all the years I've been playing guitar, from the start, and I still do it to this day. Now, emotional regulation, the silent skill. Your emotional state while practicing determines what you learn. When you're frustrated, your brain's stress systems activate. Cortisol goes up, dopamine goes down, learning shuts down. When you're curious and calm, dopamine and acetylcholine, if I say it correctly, spike, which are the chemicals for learning and attention. So here's your emotional discipline plan. Number 1, whenever you feel frustrated, stop. Not power through, stop. Frustration requires mistakes. Number 2, when you feel bored, change approach. Boredom leads to no dopamine, so no learning. Number 3, whenever you feel tired, go slow. Slow practice while tired is excellent for embedding fundamentals. Number 4, give yourself permission to suck. Your ego might say, I should be better. Your brain might say, I can't learn if you're emotionally panicking, dude. Which leads to section number 7. Ego death, becoming a new player daily. This is the core transformation. This is where everything changes. Try actively to kill your ego daily. Your ego refuses slow practice. Your ego avoids weakness. Your ego hates admitting you can't do something. Your ego wants to impress, but improvement requires humility, curiosity, vulnerability, starting from scratch, doing things that you suck at, exploring your faults without judgment. You don't become great by flexing your strengths. You become great by fixing your weaknesses. And that's one of the first things I was told when I started practicing the guitar. So listen carefully. You must become a beginner repeatedly throughout your musical life. The players who stop improving are the ones who stop being beginners. Section number 8, the identity shift, the real secret. Here's the final psychological trick. You don't improve by forcing practice. You improve by becoming the person who practices. Identity, and our idea of it, drives behavior. If your identity is I'm inconsistent, then you will be inconsistent. If your identity is I'm a hobbyist, then you'll treat practice like a hobby. But if your identity becomes I'm a guitarist who shows up every day, then you will show up every day, even on bad days. And this is how pros think. This is how long-term growth happens. It's not by motivation, it's not by hype, it's not by inspiration. Identity forms discipline, forms habit, that leads to skill, that leads to mastery. So change who you see yourself as, and your practice will follow naturally. Alright, my friends, if you watched this entire thing, congratulations. You care more about your growth than 90% of guitarists. Remember, slow is precision, precision is speed, consistency is everything, curiosity drives dopamine, ego kills progress, and your identity shapes your destiny. Please like, subscribe, comment in this video, message me, whatever keeps you motivated and improving. I'm Steelianos, and remember, shut up and evolve as a musician. Cheers.